All right, guys, we are going to be reacting to China's remove of 1 billion ton of desert sand. Shocking results in just 1 year. I'm telling you, man, China just come up with some of the weirdest thing ever, man. I knew China was ahead of things, but to this point, just removing sand and stuff like that. Golly, we're gonna react to this guy. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. I just want to get to 100,000 subscribers. Jump in.
Did you know that a quarter of China's land has turned into desert? Sounds scary, right? China always finds a way to handle any land within its mega projects. Right now, they're digging up billions of tons of sand to create something green that stretches across 193,000 square miles. Keep watching. Up next, we'll explore a mega project you'll only find in China.
Like that.
Did you know that while you're watching today's documentary, our planet already has about 13 million square miles of land turned into desert?
Wow.
That's about 40% of the Earth's land surface. Over half of this is in Asia and Africa, the most populated regions on Earth. And on that map, China is the hottest spot. Since the 1980s and still ongoing, while southern China stays lush and green, the north is so dry it's almost suffocating. The little water available is sucked up by factories, massive farms, and booming cities. People drill more wells and build more dams, but in return, rivers have started to disappear.
Wow.
The Yellow River, once China's pride, used to dry up for as long as 6 months each year.
Wow.
At the same time, forests vanished. In 1949, forest cover was down to just 8%, and it kept shrinking because of overgrazing and uncontrolled logging.
Wow.
The land eroded, lost nutrients, and could no longer support crops. The consequences have been devastating.
Yeah, because log is just simply just trash at that point. Just and then with a lot of trash, the plants cannot breathe.
Nearly a quarter of China's territory is now desert, creating sandstorms from the Gobi that can reach Beijing and blow all the way to Japan and South Korea. And China wouldn't be China if they didn't come up with a smart solution. Since the late 1970s, a series of mega projects to revive dead land have amazed the world. When northern China had only about 5% forest cover left, the Gobi Desert stretched across northern China and Mongolia. Desertification had spread to an area nearly the size of Alaska, making it one of the 6 largest deserts on Earth. In 1978, China launched its first mega project, the Great Green Wall, a massive forest belt nicknamed the Great Wall of Trees, aiming to turn dead land into a living shield against sandstorms and restore the ecosystem. But planting trees in these dry deserts is no easy task. Temperatures swing from minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit in winter to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in summer, while strong winds can bury seedlings overnight. To help the young trees survive, engineers came up with creative solutions: deeply buried drip irrigation bags to keep moisture for months, funnel-shaped planting pits to collect dew, and super drought-tolerant trees like Saxaul red willow and desert poplar, with roots that reach 60 to 90 feet deep for underground water. After more than 4 decades, China's efforts have paid off. By 2009, artificial forests covered about 193,000 square miles, twice the size of California, making it the largest man-made forest on the planet.
And that does help in the pollution as well. Again, because trees are just simply a filter. They're just filtering all those particles.
A 2020 report showed this green belt absorbed massive amounts of carbon dioxide, cooled the region, and helped reduce the impact of climate change. Especially notable in the 1980s, the Gobi was expanding by 3,800 square miles each year. But by 2022, the desert had actually shrunk by more than 770 square miles a year, a historic turning point. Behind this achievement are millions of farmers, workers, and volunteers. Take Mrs. Yin Yusen and her husband, for example. They spent 40 years planting over 74,000 acres of trees, protecting every sapling from wind and sand. People like them have turned the Gobi from a sandstorm machine into a symbol of green revival for Asia. Although the Great Green Wall in the Gobi Desert has had amazing results, China's fight against desertification isn't over.
We have to continue.
Out west, The Taklamakan Desert, called the Dead Sea of China, covers a massive 130,000 square miles, with over 85% being shifting sand dunes. In the early 2000s, sandstorms from here used to blanket all of Xinjiang and sweep into neighboring provinces, destroying roads and farmland. So the Taklamakan Greenbelt Project was born. Different name, but the process is almost a copy of the Gobi Green Wall study, The Harsh Climate. Choose drought-resistant trees, plant them in grid patterns to break the wind, cover the sand with straw or mesh before planting, and set up drip irrigation systems. Over 40 years, hundreds of thousands of workers and volunteers have created a green belt 1,715 miles long around the entire desert. The final 177-mile stretch began in 2022 with 600,000 people taking part. They planted hardy sand-holding trees like desert poplar, red willow, and saxaul. These rows of poplars and saxaul have also created a new economic belt, from fire-resistant wood and herbal leaves to dessert medicines.
Man.
Everything.
She putting that dry whatever, I forgot most of those things. She putting all that dry stuff, and he's right there with a shovel, like pushing it down. It's too close for my taste.
Has become a steady source of income for local communities. Thousands of families in Xinjiang now have new jobs, growing, tending, and harvesting these desert plants, turning this ecological front line into a real lifeline. We can't deny it, China's mega reforestation projects are impressive, stopping desertification and making the country a global pioneer in desert forestation. But as these new forests grow, a new paradox is quietly exploding. While China fights sand, it's also feeding a massive sand hunger to build its mega cities. Did you know that China's breakneck urbanization, bringing over 65% of its population into cities by 2024, demands nearly 3 billion tons of sand every year? That's enough sand to fill about 1,200,000 Olympic swimming pools. But desert sand is useless.
Why?
The grains are too round and fine, not sticky enough for concrete or glass.
Really?
Still, the desert projects can't stop. To keep the economy flowing and tap
that's a
Xinjiang's
beautiful mountain, man. Look at that. Wow. And this is close to the sand.
huge oil and gas reserves, China began building the Taklamakan Highway. In 1993, a bold lifeline cutting across the country's largest shifting sand desert. At first, it was just for hauling materials, but a few years later, it opened to residents and tourists, becoming a vital desert transport route. Not stopping at one road, the system expanded to 3 main branches, the first hundreds of miles long, a 97-mile side route, and Route A at 263 miles, connecting oases and strategic oil fields. Keeping the road open where wind can bury sand dunes in hours is a huge challenge. The solution: rows of sand-blocking trees along the whole route, large-scale irrigation systems, and maintenance sheds every 2.5 miles to control sand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Notably, this is China's first carbon-zero highway, with 109 irrigation wells and 86 solar power plants, saving about 1,000 tons of diesel and 3,410 tons of carbon dioxide each year. Where there was once only wind and sand, now a ribbon of blacktop glistens under the sun, cutting straight through giant dunes. A truly unbelievable sight. But China didn't stop at highways. They also built the 439-mile Lint Railway, with 90% of its length crossing areas with no roads at all. Opened in 2009 for freight and 2010 for passengers, it's an engineering marvel with 180 bridges and over 1,000 underpasses and tunnels. The biggest challenge is still the fierce sandstorms. To keep trains running safely, China set up 9 sand control centers, planted windbreak strips, and used special nets to stabilize dunes. Thousands of workers have to clear sand constantly. Sometimes they finish in the morning, only to have the wind cover everything again by afternoon. This is the steel lifeline through the desert, proof that humans can push the limits of nature. Are these projects enough to surprise you? Actually, deserts, often seen as dead land, have an advantage. Few places do. Endless solar energy. China has seized this opportunity, to
Yeah, I was
turn
gonna say,
vast...
I'm gonna say, yeah, you know, with China putting a lot of solar panels, it's gonna allow trees even to grow as well because there's gonna be a lot of shade. And when the trees already get some of the ultraviolet energy from the sun, they're gonna go back and get into the shade.
stretches of sand into giant power plants. Let's start on the edge of the Gobi Desert. In the middle of nowhere, you'll see an 850-foot-tall solar thermal power tower, the height of a 60-story building, surrounded by 12,000 giant mirrors sparkling in the sun. During the day, these mirrors all focus sunlight onto the top of the tower, where intense heat melts salt to make steam and spin turbines.
Wow.
The plant has been running since December 2018, designed to produce 390 million kilowatt hours a year. According to the plant manager at full capacity, it can generate 100,000 kilowatts per hour, enough to power nearly 100,000 American homes. And unlike traditional solar, this system can store heat, letting it generate electricity even after sunset.
Wow.
Move over to the Kubuki Desert, and the scene is even more spectacular. From above, you'll see 196,000 solar panels arranged in the shape of a galloping horse, covering more than 15...
But a lot of people are saying this is not good because then you're contaminating the ecosystem with a lot of chemicals, because the solar panels do have chemicals in it.
...million square feet, over 250 American football fields.
Wow.
This plant has generated more than 2.3 billion kilowatt hours of green electricity, saving about 760,000 tons of coal and cutting 1.85 million tons of carbon dioxide, the same as removing 400,000 gas cars from United States roads in a year. After more than 4 decades fighting the sand, China isn't stopping. The next goal is 2050, when they aim to create a green ring around the entire north, expanding forests by about 137,000 square miles, the size of New Mexico and Arizona combined. To achieve this bold goal, China isn't just relying on manpower, but also pushing futuristic technology. Artificial intelligence forest monitoring systems will track moisture, wind speed, and plant health in real time. Smart solar-powered irrigation will automatically deliver water to each area, making sure seedlings survive even during long droughts. Imagine if every tree in the desert was cared for by artificial intelligence. But this story isn't just about China. It's also a map of hope for every dry region on the planet, from Africa to the American West. Can the world learn from and scale up this model to fight climate change? What do you think? Share your thoughts.
I think that's a great idea, man. And I think we have to modify, especially when it comes down to the desert. Yeah, we might have to use some of that space to put some plants. Willow tree sounds like a great idea. Pine tree sounds like a great idea, especially with those deserts that are kind of high, very close to the mountains, and to, you know, close to those snow mountains. I think putting a lot of pine tree is a great idea. It's a great idea. And the pine trees are going to just sprout a lot of seeds. So let them, you know, let the seed, you know, keep, you know, spreading through the desert. In my opinion, very interesting, man. These are very interesting documentaries. Let me know what you guys think, guys. I will see you next one.